Alrighty, welcome back everyone to episode 3 of the Mental Breakdown podcast. Let's clap it up. Clap it up. We got 2 familiar faces, obviously, other than Am and Yubin and I, who are the hosts. If you guys want to introduce yourselves.
My name is Rachel.
My name is Philip.
Shout out. Philip was a fan favorite last episode, so we're glad they're back. So today, guys, we're going to be talking about Asian student culture. We're going to be doing a little bit of a zoom in. Hopefully, we can talk about our intergenerational trauma, talk about our favorite foods, etc. So, before I start the episode, I just kind of want to preface something important. I know today we're going to be talking through the lens of Asian student culture. So we're going to talk about all the themes and the pressures and kind of the guilt that comes along from being a part of an immigrant family. But we want to talk about the immigrant guilt, and we want to specify that they're not exclusive to us. So whether you're South Asian, Middle Eastern, Latin American, or any person of color background, so many of these quote-unquote mental breakdowns and the issues that we're going to be talking about today is shared not exclusively to Asian student culture. So we want to preface that. Obviously, we're going to be talking about Asian student culture since we're all Asian on the podcast, but preface that. But I want to jump right into our icebreakers because I think we got some fire ones today that might bring us. But the first one is, I actually had a convo with one of my boys about this the other day, but if Canada and your home country, so my home country is Korea, was in the World Cup, in the final, who are you cheering for? So whose jersey are you putting on? So can we just state really quickly where we're all from? I think that's pretty important. So I'm from Korea, and then
I guess Vietnam.
Yeah, I think Vietnam.
Wait, what do you mean think?
Okay,
If you got multiple, you got multiple.
No, because Philip and I we're part of the Chinese diaspora that are from or that are living in Vietnam. So it's we don't really know how Chinese or how Viet we are, but just know we're Rockers.
It's open interpretation.
Well,
it's open interpretation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Vietnam, I guess.
Yeah. Same. I guess so too.
I'm from India. I'm not from India, but I'm Indian.
Oh yeah.
I'm born here.
I'm also Korean.
Okay.
Okay, I think I'll answer first because for me it's so I'm cheering for Korea. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm a Canadian citizen. I was born in Korea, moved here when I was 1. I'm pretty much a banana. I've grown up my entire life here. But I can't. My dad would kill me. I remember in 2002, Korea made it to the semifinals, I think, in the World Cup, and that was the most hyped our country has been in years.
We're hella passionate about
Dude, soccer is our,
right?
I don't want to swear, but it's our stuff. We're passionate about that. So I gotta do Korea. It's not even a debate for me. I gotta do Korea.
Yeah.
Out of cultural pride. But what about y'all?
I would say Vietnam. I don't know about you. I would say Vietnam, but I don't know if hold on. I don't think the Vietnam is in the World Cup this year. Let me know.
No, but if they were in hypothetical
if they
scenario,
were, then I would choose Vietnam. Also, same with South Korea, soccer is a huge thing in Vietnam, a huge thing. Even if we don't make it to the big leagues, but one day.
This year we got the World Cup in Van this year.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think they're pulling up to Vancouver.
Yeah.
So.
Thing is, I feel I would cheer for Canada against any other team but South Korea.
No, same. Exactly the same.
And I've even thought of I remember this is so off topic, but Steph Curry's parents have 2 sons in the NBA, and they played in the playoffs, and their parents had jerseys with half of Steph Curry and the other son. So I was maybe I'd get a half Korea, half Canada.
Yeah, that's
I think I get killed by my fellow Koreans, but
you're done. You ain't going back. You're done.
I'm never.
You're done.
Yeah.
I think I like cheering for an underdog, especially. So I think I would cheer for Vietnam, but realistically speaking, I don't think they're ever making the World Cup.
You're gonna get canceled, bro.
You're done.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel India's not in the World Cup this year.
Yeah.
They kind of more so hold down the cricket scene, so that's what our thing is, bro. We're doing a thing with cricket, but honestly, I don't know. I was born here, so I'm a 50-50 type of guy, I think I would pull the Steph Curry parent thing, half and half, get kind of with the India, color kind of
Okay,
bro.
wait, but would you wear 2 jerseys and whoever's winning, you keep the jersey on?
Oh my.
Yo, look.
Phil, bro, you're so smart. Facts.
Yeah.
As soon as Canada scores, I'm putting on a Canada jersey.
Or you got half of them and each side is Velcro, so you can rip off the other side when needed.
Yeah.
That's fire. You're a traitor, though.
No, Phil, you're so smart, bro. You're lost.
That's
Some
sketch.
bandwagon.
Oh my goodness.
Or even, how about you?
I would do Korea for sure.
Yeah.
I don't feel very connected to Canada in any certain way.
Yeah.
I'm not
Alright, fair.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll touch on that later, but I think especially I don't know, soccer brings out some the World Cup especially. I've never seen people that hate Korea so much. At least for me, cheer for Korea so passionately.
It's the World Cup,
It's the
right?
World Cup. You gotta cheer for your own.
Korea's like national team is pretty iconic though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not on the front. I don't know it. I know like Son Heung-min, like Sonny, like I know him. Other than that dude, like
Just as much of a bad
yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie to you. But okay, the next question I have for you, this is actually really interesting because I'm curious to see what y'all do. But like, obviously, we have our internal monologue, so it's like what we think. Do you guys think in English or your home language, or both?
Ooh.
So like, or like a better way to frame this, like a more easier to understand, is like, you know when you like something pisses you off and you like swear in your head.
Yeah.
For me, that swearing is in Korean.
Oh goddamn.
No, genuinely, like. But like thinking wise, when y'all are like approaching thoughts, is it in English or is it in your home language? Because like mine's like kind of both. Depends on where I'm at and who I'm talking to. But swearing exclusively for me is Korean. Yeah, I just
I
want to
feel like it hits different though. Like I've heard it in
yeah,
like Korean,
it actually
y'all are
is.
aggressive like
Yeah.
with the swearing. There's
Yeah.
some like cadence to it. I don't know. I don't know. You should go first since you went last time.
Yeah, I feel like it's a mix. It definitely depends on the context for me. I think if I'm in Canada, I'll think in English, and if I'm in Korea, I'll think in Korean. I think it just kind of depends on the people I'm around.
But like let's say you're studying, or not studying, I guess. Studying is obviously going to be English, but like if you're trying to motivate yourself or talking to yourself, is it in English or in Korean? Again, depending on the situation.
I feel like, yeah, it's pretty random. Like if I was like just talking to my mom, then I'll think in Korean after that, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, valid.
Fair. I mean, for me, like, I'm not gonna lie, I think it's mostly just English. But I think it also depends on who I'm talking to. If it's like, if I'm having a personal, like a conversation with like another like brown person,
Yeah.
I think it just instantly, it's like, it goes Indian. But
Yeah.
Depends.
Oh yeah, no, same here. I think I only like I don't recall a moment that I've ever like thought in like Chinese or like. I'm not gonna lie.
I thought you were about to say I haven't recalled a moment where I thought.
No, like
I don't do that.
I only think in English, like everything, like I guess like the inside voice, it's always just English. And if I am speaking Chinese to like my mom, it's like I'm thinking in English, and it just like comes out as Chinese.
You translate it, yeah.
It like automatically translates. But
Yeah.
to be fair, it's like Chinglish, so.
No, that's actually the best way to put it though. Like I think a lot of Asian American and Asian Canadians watching this is like like for us it's Konglish or like Chinglish. It's like that mixture of English and whatever your native tongue is, like intertwined. It's almost like a new language, bro.
Yeah.
You know how like Chinese American is like it's not Chinese food or American food. It's like its own.
Yeah.
It's like
it's the same thing with our tongue. Like it's like yeah.
What's funny too is like it's very niche because like I feel like you know how like certain words like when we speak for example like Chinglish like certain words are just said in English like it's like a very universal experience.
Yeah, like computer in Korean is computer.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's like
that's like same thing with like coffee in Vietnamese. It's just cafe. Like okay, bro, really unique.
Yeah.
But for me, I think it sort of depends. I think like what everyone else has said, it sort of depends on like who I'm talking to. But what I have noticed specifically is like if someone like for example if like I'm in Vietnam and like some Vietnamese auntie really pissed me. Can I say that?
Yeah, of course.
Really pissed me off. Like I start cussing them out Vietnamese like real bad.
Yeah, no,
like, real bad. Like
Oh my, that's so real.
I feel like I hope that you can hear what I'm saying right now.
Yeah.
But I'm just like a very vengeful person, so that's like completely unrelated. But anyway, so yeah.
I think we're all then pretty similar. Like majority of the time it's English. If we're talking or speaking to someone that knows and understands our native tongue, we mix in a little bit of that. But usually, obviously, since we're in Canada,
It's like just
English.
default sort of.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I thought it would be a lot of half-half, but hell yeah. First discussion question of the day. It's kind of tackling, obviously, we're talking about Asian student culture. That in itself is pretty broad when I think of it. It's like, what about Asian student culture are we talking about? So, like, that's what we're going to start with. Like, when I say Asian student culture, what is the first thing that comes to your guys' head? And I don't like I kind of mentioned it in my comments, but, like, obviously the stereotypical trope is just, like, we study hard. And that's kind of it. Obviously, that's really important, but straying away from that and straying into your own personal experiences, obviously being a part of Asian student culture, like what is something that comes to your mind in general?
Yeah, I want to say like first thing I thought of was like the stereotypes.
Yeah. Phil, what are some stereotypes, Philip? Lay them out, Philip.
No, okay, growing up, okay, I think you get put into like yourself, but also like other fellow Asian students, we like automatically just get categorized into like a specific type of student, which is like what Sam mentioned, like always studying, like peculiarly good at school for whatever reason. But that's just because we've been like like growing up, we've been like the only thing we did know was just school to school.
Right.
So like for me, my personal experience is like seeing someone like a fellow Asian student way back then, like pursuing something that's a little bit different from like the traditional academics. It's a little bit like, whoa, like that's kind of odd. Like you're allowed to do this.
Yeah,
It's
like,
whoa.
It's like seeing like in high school. I remember if I saw an Asian dude playing hockey back then, I'll be like, yo, shout out. No, that's crazy because that you don't do that. You know, like you're just in IB calculus.
You do it badminton.
You do it badminton.
Okay, I was like, I can say that.
We can. But
yeah, that's valid. I think. Sorry, I just went out. I think for me, like when I think of Asian student culture, like just from my perspective, because like I am ethnically Asian, but like I obviously like grew up in Canada. For me, I just think about like how those two cultures are fused together, and I feel like sometimes I do have like a little bit of identity crisis, especially back in the day, like growing up. I was born in Alberta, just for like some context, and like.
Sorry.
Like, do you sound like off camera, bro? Like, what's up?
No, I didn't know about that.
You were on camera.
So I was born in like Calgary, Alberta. So like, I grew up in a relatively, I want to say like, white area, and like from what I remember, like the school was diverse, but overall, I think there was a lot of like white influence. And like for me, I guess battling that, and then also growing up and like learning about my Asian culture was like. It's just like, how do I fuse the two together? I feel like I'm really Asian to everyone else, but I also feel like I'm too white when I go back to Vietnam or like when I'm at home with my family. And it's like, how did those two things that like, I guess, contrast a lot? Like, how do those two things coincide and like make just my unique identity in itself?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that like a lot of Asian students deal with, just because like a lot of us are like either like we were born elsewhere, we moved really early to Canada, or like we were born in Canada, and like also a lot of us also happen to have parents who were immigrants, like first-gen immigrants from Asia. So it's like, I think it's like, that's like, it brings in obviously like the good things of like, you know, learning different foods, cultures, like languages, whatever, but it also comes with like, you know, we're going to talk about it later, but like the pressure that comes with Asian culture. And it's like, oh, like everyone else that like I went to school with, like, damn, they're blessed up, they're chilling. But like, yo, my dad was like a boat refugee. So it's like, I think a lot of that pressure from like his experiences reflect onto me, and it's like, what does that mean for me now and like my identity, and like not to get too serious, but it's just like, okay, what does that mean for like my prospective future, and like sort of like what Phil was touching on about like studying something that isn't like conventionally Asian, like, okay, we're not going to become engineers. Like, if I told my parents I was studying political science and I did not back that up with, yo, I'm going to be a lawyer one day. Yeah. I don't know how they would feel, and that's not because they're bad people, that's not because of anything, but that's because my dad could have died on that boat.
Yeah.
Right, of course.
In like the ocean or something. Yeah. And like he didn't make it out of there for no reason, right?
Yeah.
So it's like contrasting those two things.
Yeah.
I see that.
Yeah.
Kind of to add on, I feel like something that like we develop amongst like being like Asian students is like empathy towards each other in regards to like understanding why we work so hard. It's something that we don't necessarily have to say. It's just something that we kind of just like we get it.
It's understood.
It's understood. It's like mutually understood why we work so hard, regardless of if this is something that you actually wanted to pursue or not. You just like if you can look at another student, regardless if they're like Asian or not, you can kind of understand why they kind of work so hard towards that goal.
Yeah, I think that applies to like, I think I mentioned in a preface too, but just like all people of color as well. Just like the mindset of kind of knowing that you didn't necessarily belong here at first. So like coming from parents that were from somewhere else and then immigrating here, and that mindset I think is so applicable to everyone. It's just like, oh, I kind of get it. Like, I think for a lot of people, success is sometimes an option. For us, I think it's framed as like a necessity, not even a necessity. It's just like the only path forward is we have to be going toward an end goal. Yeah. And like when we see another person be like, oh, I can see them also sprinting in the same way I am, it's very relatable. Yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah.
Sure. But also building off of what Rachel said too, of my first thought when I thought of Asian student culture when I was kind of scripting this was obviously our episode title today is called Between Pride and Pressure. And I think those two P's, pride and pressure, were like the biggest things that I thought. My first immediate thought was pressure. I think Rachel touched on it. Yeah. My second immediate thought was my pride that comes with that pressure. There's a certain pride I feel of not only being a Korean Canadian, but also being an Asian Canadian and understanding that I'm really standing on the blessings that my parents curated for me. But not only that, but like I've been blessed with an opportunity that like, I know it's so cliche. Everyone's like, you gotta be really, but like genuinely though, I look at student life. I just look at life back in Korea. I'm not pitying them, but I empathize with them because I know what they have to do and the standards they go through, and the opportunities that I have growing up as a Korean Canadian here is much different. I think there's a certain pride that comes with that, though, that is half arrogance and half confidence and half ego talking. I try not to tap into that too much, but I think to a certain extent that pride kind of keeps me going. It's like, okay, like I'm doing this for the sake of not only my family, but for like my country. Like, I don't want other people to look at me and be like, you know what, he's a spitting image of what an Asian should be, or he's a spitting image of what a Korean should be. So when I think of Asian student culture, I think of those two things.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Nice. Do you want to go, right?
Yeah, sure, I can go. Yeah. When I think of Asian student culture, the first thing that came to my mind was kind of like my high school was very like Asian student dominated. There were a lot of Asian students in my high school, which was a bit of a change from my elementary school, which had a lot of white kids. And so I feel like that I never really was like in tune with my Asian culture until I entered my high school, where I was able to meet other Asian students. And I feel like that was a really like comforting transition into this like new level of schooling, because I was able to bond with other Asian kids about our culture, and I feel like that was a great thing for me growing up and my relationships. I have noticed though, like as I've grown older, like Rachel said, there are like good and bad things. As I've grown older, I have like encountered a lot of people that were like a little bit like overly obsessive about like my Asian identity. So I feel like it kind of goes both ways, where like when I think about being an Asian student, I think about like the good things of like, oh, like I am able to like go out to get certain foods with all of my friends that also appreciate this culture with me. But then there's also like, I kind of feel a sense of like, I kind of feel a little bit unsafe. The appreciation sometimes kind of leads to fear.
Do you feel like, because you mentioned that like sort of the experience you had, like the kids that were surrounding you and like their ethnicities and stuff like that was a lot different from like elementary and high school. Did you feel like when you were surrounded with I guess students that were like Caucasian or white, did you feel like you sort of had to like switch your sides? Like sort of, or like just the way that you were talking, or like what you even talked about, like did you bring in your Korean culture and all? Because like for me, I remember being very self-conscious, especially about food. I feel like that is like such a cliche thing, but genuinely like it was a terrible experience, and like having to be self-conscious about like what my mom was making, but it was like bust though, like but why was I being so, and it makes me so sad thinking about it now, but like why was I so, and like now we're watching people like take over ube and matcha, so like don't even get me started on that.
That's a whole nother combo.
But like so what, like I guess what were your thoughts on like your experience?
I think I can totally relate to that. I feel like a lot of other Asian kids and people of color could probably relate as well. Like I definitely grew up wishing I was white, or thinking like, oh, maybe if I was white, like it'd be easier to make friends. And I definitely felt like kind of embarrassed of like certain things, such as my name. Like I don't have an English name. All the other Asian kids in my elementary school, they all had English names. So I was like the only kid in my elementary school that had like a name that wasn't like, that was like an ethnic name. And so there was like kind of a lot of, like you said, I also felt like really self-conscious growing up. I definitely think transitioning into an environment where there were a lot more Asian people that were a lot more like me made it a lot easier. I think my main thing that I thought was really interesting was that like that kind of switch happened so quickly, where like all of a sudden people are like so excited about Asian culture and want to be friends with me because I'm Asian, or or are like romantically interested in me because I'm Asian.
Everyone's in a very Chinese time of their lives. So I wasn't aware of that. Y'all weren't like that 10 years ago, but I digress.
It was just a crazy switch to have lived through, like growing up as a kid, that was something I was always ashamed of, and now it feels like there's so much attention on me just because of that.
I kind of want to like add on, that's kind of funny that we mentioned it, like I'm just thinking back, one of the things that I felt kind of like distance away from my classmates back then was Netflix shows, because we, like my family, we didn't have access to that, or just rather we decided not to because it's a paid subscription for like shows. So when people were talking about like Stranger Things or Riverdale, like I couldn't get in on that.
You were talking about Paris by Night, bro. We know what you were on. I know.
But that just like made like me and like other fellow Asian students who didn't also have access to Netflix just like naturally bond with each other quite nicely, because we couldn't really get in on those conversations like, oh my god, did you see the latest episode of Riverdale? No, we did not.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
Probably for the better. Riverdale's not it. You're good, I think.
Wait, sorry, did you wrap up your thing?
Yeah, no.
Okay. I guess for me, I'm gonna take this question like a little bit of a different light or like way. But for me, like when I think of Asian student culture, I think of like the word representation. And I mean that sense of like for example, in my elementary, there was a lot of Asian kids. Like, you know, every like Asian like background you can imagine, except brown. Like me and my cousin were like the only like brown kids there. Even in high school, like I went to 2 different high schools, so one in grade 8 and the rest from like 9 to 12. In grade 8, it was all Filipino like kids. I knew like, I mean, it is like a predominantly Filipino like school, but there was one other like brown kid that I knew, like Indian especially, you know, aside from me. And then after when I went to the other high school, it was just like, you know, white kids, Filipino, Chinese, you know, and then again, like it was just me and my cousin, right? So for me, like I think of the word representation because I think everywhere I go, like everything I do personally, right? I understand that, like, you know, I represent my background, my ethnicity, right? My people. And in everything that I do, right? Any, like, hobbies that I, like, you know, take on or creative pursuits. Like, you know, if I'm creating something, like, I kind of acknowledge that, okay, like, you know, when people take this in, like, I kind of hope that they see that, okay, you know, I'm coming from, like, a background and I'm bringing in that culture into whatever else that I, you know, do or, like, you know, new things that I make and whatnot. So that's, like, one aspect I take it in. And then another aspect, like, again, because, you know, I've kind of gone through like growing up like being the only Indian person in my circle, and even right now like my friend group is like there's a lot more like other people from Asian backgrounds rather than just Indian, right? So it's kind of like I have that insider perspective of, you know, yes, I am Asian, so I get along with other people like that are Asian, but then also like because I'm Indian, I kind of have like that outsider perspective in a way. So when I, you know, for example, when I come to UBC, right, the way like again why I said representation is because like I think there's like a UBC club, like I don't know what it's called, but it's like a Sikh club or whatnot, right? So they have like these things in the nest where they'll like have it's not like a religious proceeding, but like they'll give out meals, right, to the students, and they have like the religious hymns playing in the background. So whenever I hear that, right, I can acknowledge that and be like, you know, this is like a form of representation for me. That's not like it's not like a direct like a huge thing, right? But it's like the small things that kind of like I think add up. So yeah, that's how I like interpret like, you know, Asian student culture, because like I see like other people my age, right? Other students that are, I guess, trying to like represent their culture, right? Kind of bring that into like the space of things, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Representation.
It's really interesting that you bring that up because like I think the first thing that I thought of when you were talking about sort of like the religious hymns and like the meals is like just Lunar New Year that just came up and how they had like a whole like little mini festival going on, and like I think for Chinese people that's really representative of our culture. And I was just thinking about not only like Asian students like who are maybe like born here but have Asian ethnicity, but also those back home, especially at UBC, since a lot of them have moved from like their places of origin and have came here for school. And it's like being able to feel at least a little bit at home despite not really being at home. I think it's such an important thing about being an Asian student as well, because I feel like our culture, our foods, our music do make up who we are and make up home.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I think there's so much we can talk about of this topic. Like I'm just looking back on like the side, but we can literally just base our episode on this. Genuinely. I think we've literally touched the surface, but kind of expand on the point earlier. Like I'm going to pinpoint on Rachel's convo about pressure, because I think that's so universally understood amongst anyone in the Asian student community. But for you guys, like, when we talk about this pressure, like, is this something that you are openly discussing and talking about with either be your parents? Obviously, a lot of it comes from your parents. Like, are you discussing it with your parents? Are you discussing it with your fellow Asian friends? Are you having that inner monologue and discussing it with yourself and acknowledging it? Or is it just kind of something that's like quietly understood? Like, you know it's there. You know sometimes it's your main motivator. Sometimes it's your main stressor. But it's not something you bring up. Like, me personally, I don't really talk about it. I grew up in a very conservative Korean family. I've touched on this before in other podcast episodes, but like the idea of success and the idea of kind of the best way I could put it is like your parents kind of set you out a potential of who you are, and their job is to make sure you're reaching that.
Yeah.
And if they feel like you're not slowly climbing that mountain and you're taking a detour, they're kind of like, yo, like get your
like
back on it.
Kumar.
Yeah. But I never thought it was pressure because for all of us, like it's just normal. Like we never kind of understood it. It's like it seems like we're kind of delegating into another thing by calling it pressure. Because growing up to me, it was just like it's normal. Like this is what all parents should do.
Yeah.
Oops.
All right, there goes our episode.
we'll ignore that for now. I'll just continue because I don't think it's that important. But I think right now where I'm at, I think I have a healthy relationship with pressure. I think I acknowledge it. I understand it's there. I understand why it's there. Part of it is because of my willingness and my want to succeed for my parents. But another part of it is kind of like maybe I would have a healthier relationship and a healthier mental health or a healthier approach to life in general if that overlooming cloud of pressure wasn't there. So I'm kind of split. So when I think about pressure, I wish I could talk about it with my parents. I don't know how that conversation would look, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like, hey, I don't know.
What's like the best possible scenario?
Yeah,
like,
best possible scenario.
Yeah, let's hear it. Your parents ain't watching this, right?
They're definitely not. They're definitely not. If I brought up, hey mom, hey dad. Oh man, I don't even know how that conversation would go.
That's the thing, right?
How would you bring that up?
How would that conversation go?
Yeah.
Like,
because like for me at least, there's no way of kind of packaging it in a way that doesn't sound aggressive or like
a complaint.
Like what's 공격적 in English? Like a little like I'm like attacking them with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because my parents 100% would kind of be like, well, we did it for you. And I'm like, I agree with you, but like I want to have a conversation on both of us accepting why that is. And like what led to that, you know? I think best case scenario with just my parents kind of being like,
okay.
Yeah. My parents would kind of be like, oh, all right.
Seems about right.
Look how you turned out though. Like, all right. I'm like, okay. Like, you know, that's just how I approach it.
Yeah. I'm like thinking about, because now that I asked you, I'm like thinking about how my parents would react. I feel like there's definitely been times where I've been like, oh, like I'm really stressed out right now, you guys, like please don't like PMO, like I actually can't. And they'll be sort of understanding, but I feel like they don't actually really understand like sort of the pressure that we have on our backs, especially as like children of immigrants and like immigrants that have to go through so much to get here. Like I think they're from their perspective, which totally makes sense. Like my dad and my mom are like, well, I've been through so much, like, hey, all you gotta do is just make it. Like, come on, like, I already shot the ball.
All you got, I think that sentence is really important. All you gotta do is make it. That's all you gotta do. You just gotta make
Ball's in the air, I just gotta dunk it over, but like, that dunk is hard, right? And it's like, when knowing, like, all that pressure is on your back to make, also for, like, context, I'm also, like, the eldest daughter in the family. So there is a lot more to it. And, like, I think, like Sam said, too, the progression of, like, how I saw pressure, and especially like academic pressure, I think really changed over time. Like you said, when I was younger, I actually didn't really see it as pressure. I just saw it more as like, oh, I gotta grind, I gotta go to school, whatever. Like, chat, I wanted to be a surgeon when I was like literally in the 4th grade. I had this time capsule from elementary school. I just opened it up, and like one of the questions that I like wrote to myself was like, oh, what I want to be when I grow up. And I was like, yeah, I want to be a surgeon. And then like the next question was like, what do you think you're gonna be doing 10 years? And I literally, I was in 4th grade, so I was like 10. And I was like, yeah, I'm probably gonna be in university, like doing my master's degree to become a surgeon. First of all, you don't need a master's degree to become a surgeon, but like I don't know what I was thinking.
Hey, bro,
now I'm doing a political science degree.
4th grade, I was playing NBA 2K14 in Minecraft.
What pack I was smoking?
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like I don't know what pack I was smoking, but that's sort of like what it was. But I didn't see it as pressure.
Yeah.
Then going into high school, I think I like matured a little bit more, and I realized that like, damn, like this life is actually sort of hard. And then you go to university, and then now you're paying money to go to school, and like that pressure in itself is something else. Also, like I'm on student loans, so for me, like if this doesn't work out, I'm going back to my job at McDonald's, like to pay off my loans. So a lot of that pressure is there, but it's like, how do you communicate that to your parents?
Yeah, I can kind of like build off of like what you guys said. Actually, I don't know. For me, like pressure is like a funny thing because it's like, for me personally, I think I use it as a tool, right? So it's like when we're talking about like, you know, like success and whatnot. Yeah. I think like just from coming from like an Asian background, like it's kind of expected because it's like, what else are you doing if not succeeding?
Right.
It's kind of hard actually, but you know, like what else are you doing if you're not succeeding, right? But I don't know. I use pressure as like a tool, right? So for me, like whether it's in school or like anything else I'm doing, it works out. But then I think like when it comes to like your parents understanding that, I feel like they truly don't know, like, okay, because like most of our like parents, right? Like my parents haven't like gone to university. Like the most they have is like, you know, high school education, right?
Yeah.
And they move over and then whatnot, right? They start their lives here. So like I feel like parents don't understand, it's like, you know, what type of pressure you have.
Yeah.
Because to them, pressure could be like, you know, the pressures of like, you know, life and like not having a job, right? Or like food to provide. But then like for us, it's like, okay, like, you know, you can't, you know, pass your midterm or like exams or like whatever it may be, right?
Different field, I guess.
Exactly. So I feel like parents can't relate in that sense. But then also going back to your like point, right, about how you would like have that conversation. I don't talk to my parents about like pressure or whatnot. Yeah. I mean, I think they just like sense it, or like they see like, okay, you know, he's working or like he's busy with stuff. But like, I feel like only we truly know what we have in our minds and you know, stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't know how you would go about that conversation with your parents.
Yeah, I just want to clarify one thing before you guys go. I don't want to cut the conversation, but I think the main frustration that we have, just to kind of, I think listeners might be a little confused, is like we're not complaining or frustrated about our parents pushing us towards success. I think that's what a parent should do. I think sometimes though, as Asian students and Asian parents or kids of immigrant parents, is like we feel like that idea of success is so limited and tunnel vision to what it is for them. I think what I've learned for a lot of my Western friends is their parents are like the exact same to my parents in terms of what they want and how much they're dreaming for their kid. But then they just have a wider array of what that success could look like. For me growing up, like my brother's pursuing to be a doctor, I'm pursuing to be a lawyer. Like it's like,
oh, you're winning. Your parents.
No, but like that's if we make it. But like that's like the only kind of path that was set from a young age. Like it has to be a teacher, dentist, doctor. It's defined. Like there is lanes you go through and you just pick a lane, you walk through it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of our frustration comes from that too, and the pressure of that, because it's like, okay, it's not pressure for us to succeed, but it's our pressure for us to succeed in what is right in your eyes.
That in itself is like an added pressure, right?
Yeah. But I just wanted to clarify that before we move on.
So I think a lot of it has to do with just like I think guilt is one of like the biggest things.
Man, that's
being able to I think being able to have that conversation with your parents about this pressure that you feel growing up to become something that's predefined by them as what success is. A lot of it's actually guilt, that conversation, because they understand the struggle. At least my parents, I think they kind of get it. Their background is they actually, I think their highest education was just elementary school. And they were not the most like financially stable. My mom was one of 10 children living in Vietnam.
Wow.
Goddamn.
Only the eldest of the children was given the opportunity to go to school, while she had to partake in doing labor with my grandparents just to make ends meet.
Wow.
So my parents kind of understand that struggle, and what they want out of me is not, I think, is a little bit more is unique, but it's also at the same time, like I think we can all understand it, is they want me to be, they don't want me to face that struggle. They kind of set up this path for me. In their world, it's kind of like a clear-cut path. We're going to set up everything for you. We're going to fund everything for you. All you have to do is just do it. Ultimately, this is going to lead to, you know, just me being like happy, right? But something you realize while growing up is like the idea of success is that's predefined by them. It's not exactly really true to you. And the journey to happiness, at least for me, it's not really a journey of happiness, but it's like finding happiness in the journey. Like I will accept the struggle.
Wait, it's a philosophical make, but we are philosophical.
Dude, that's why his name's Philip, because he's philosophical Philip.
So like I am, like if I were to have an honest conversation with my parents, I will let them know that I'm willing to take on this struggle. Like you guys gone through it once. I know you don't want me to go through it.
That's why that pressure is there.
But I'm willing to go through it just to become what I want to be.
Nice.
Like I understand why you have this pressure, or why you want me to live this sort of life that you define as success. But at the same time, like I have my own dreams and I'm willing to go on this struggle, because again, I'm finding happiness in this journey, but not rather it's not a journey of happiness, but rather finding happiness.
I love the way you worded that. Like genuinely, that was beautiful.
Dude, Philip is deep as hell, man. Like what he's saying actually really resonates with me too, and I'm sure like it would resonate with any other student as well. Like knowing that your parents are sort of they've been through it already. They don't want you to go through it too. And as a result, they're putting all of their eggs in this one basket and the basket is you. So it's like, what kind of guilt does that bring on when you go up to them and you're like, I'm really stressed out, like I don't want to do school anymore. Dude, like my mom would trip out. Like she literally told me, like, if you don't have enough money for school, like, because I completely depend on myself for like tuition and for rent, like all of it is paid by student loans and like also my job. She literally told me, like, if you can't fund it, I'm going to sell our house and I'm going to make sure that you get education. That is like the biggest egg I feel like someone could put in another person's basket, right? So it's like that guilt, and also just knowing that, like, hey, we're making generational wealth out here.
Of course.
Like that guilt, I think when you think about that, it's like, it sort of is just like, okay, like all these eggs in one basket, and like you're sort of making it out for like the generations ahead, so that the next, like if people have, or like if you have kids, or like if like you have nieces and nephews and whatever, it's like you're making sure that they're not going to go through the same struggles that you did too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it kind of just boils down to, you know, like the idea of like sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
Sacrifice in terms of their dreams, because I think we can all kind of like empathize with our parents when through their adolescence years, especially my parents. I just imagine them around my age right now. What did they want to become? You know, what did they kind of want to do? Ultimately, they couldn't do that, and they had to embark on like this journey of like just struggle, just fighting, just to make ends meet, just so I could have this opportunity to, you know, just live and to go pursue my own dreams. So I think that's like the biggest guilt that a lot of like Asian Canadians within that, like, or just many people with that background kind of go through, and it's like the guilt of the sacrifice that their parents kind of went through.
Right.
Yo, if you're not crying watching this, like you're about to.
It was like this, and then since you said that, it just went.
I'm sorry. Gotta lighten the mood a little bit.
Yeah. Jubilee, is there anything?
I can definitely
On your heart?
relate when it comes to the guilt thing. Like, I know that my parents moved to Canada to provide a better education for me and my brother, and just like thinking about how they, like, here they literally have no one, like no family, no friends. They just came here just for us, and like, how could you not feel guilty about that? Especially like with my parents, their health isn't the greatest as well, and I just know that if they were in Korea, like it would be different.
Oh, healthcare in Korea is different. Yeah.
I feel like with pressure specifically, like in my family, my experience has always been, if I bring up something that's stressing me out, the reaction is always the same. It's just like, it'll pass. Like, I think my parents have a very like since they've been through it already, they're very trusting of the process, and they strongly believe that pressure is just something inevitable that everyone is going to go through. So there's no point in me like sitting and whining about it. So whenever
Facts.
I bring it up, they're always just like,
Holy facts.
we all went through this, like, it's going to pass.
part of the journey.
It's part of the
Holy
journey.
facts. Yeah, no, actually, holy facts. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like, so I kind of like, for me, it is kind of quietly understood
Yeah.
that that's how pressure is
Wow.
going to be viewed in like my family and my culture, I think.
Wait, guys, I'm gonna cough really quick so you guys can put this up.
We're not highlight this.
No,
No,
I
but
just don't want
man,
that
man, hearing, I don't know, it's
happening.
like, no, but like words such as like guilt or sacrifice, like, I think when we were like starting to talk about this question, I was like, I don't know, like I had obviously a preconceived notion of how everyone's going to respond, but everyone took it so differently, and like it like shifted from a question about pressure to like the significance about the relationship between our parents and the significance about their sacrifice and the guilt that comes with that. I think that's amazing.
You know what's funny? It's like, we still don't know how we'd approach that conversation with our parents.
We don't. No idea.
I'm done.
I don't know how we
No
would like
idea.
talk about it, but like the funny thing is like we still have like a mutual understanding of the same thing.
No, we
Yeah.
feel it. We
We
understand.
feel it,
Yeah.
but
We all
just can't,
understand
like,
each
verbalize.
other.
Yeah, we just
Yeah.
can't vocalize that.
Man, I mean, I think something that results from all of those. So pressure, sacrifice, and guilt are expectations, right? Expectations of that you put on yourself, and also expectations that your parents put on you, because they obviously understand that you understand all this. So I guess the next discussion question is kind of related to that, but how shaped are you guys by these expectations? I want to keep it broad, because I think when we keep questions broad, it allows us to kind of explore different subsections of it.
Yeah.
But like, you can explore the expectations that your parents have specifically set upon you, or the expectations that you've kind of curated for yourself, understanding your parents' sacrifice and the guilt that comes along with that.
Right.
Yeah, I know that's a lot.
That's a deep question.
I could start us off while
Let's do it.
everyone else is thinking. I think for me, like, I'm really shaped by expectations of not only like my parents but also myself. I think like I won't give credit to like both my parents only in terms of like the creation of my own expectations. I think I am just naturally like a very driven person and like very ambitious, very type A. So it's like I feel like I already have these expectations I've given myself just over time. So I think those have really shaped who I am. But I think the motivation behind it is ultimately, I think, like my parents and like also wanting to succeed and make the sacrifices that my parents made worth it, and like they actually got something out of it. I think like every single decision that I make, for the most part, well, I'll talk about Saturday, but every decision other than that, every
Yo,
decision
clip it, yo. Add the photos of her at Fortune on the bond. And Phil,
That's a major clips from Claire.
Oh my
No, but every decision after that, Sunday and after, like those are decisions that I make thinking about like how is this gonna propel me to get closer to like my big goal. And like my big goal is literally to just be self-sufficient. Like I don't need to rely on my parents anymore. Like I'm successful in the sense of like I got a bag and I'm healthy, I'm happy, and like I can provide for those who need it. Like that's my biggest concern, is like being able to provide for everyone who needs it, like my loved ones, my family, my friends, whatever it might be. And because of that, it's like sometimes I have to sacrifice like that night out. Like maybe I was wilding out on Saturday because I sacrificed so many other nights before that. And that was a decision I had to make because it was shaped by my expectations of what I want to achieve, right? So it's like every decision, I think, for a lot of Asian students, and I think for everyone in general, right? But specifically for Asian students, because we face so much of that like pressure from immigrants, it's like every micro decision is like, it's dependent on that, at least for myself. So I would say like everything that I do is very much shaped by my expectations. But
Also, for context for the viewers, like the reason Rachel's voice sounds a little like hoarser than usual
just
is a byproduct
Just
of
a
how
lot.
hard she went on Saturday.
I was supporting
And for context, it's a Wednesday today. It's been 4 whole days.
allow it, allow it.
4 whole
Me and
days.
Ruben were there too.
Allow it. I was supporting my club. I was supporting the gala fundraiser. Okay, we were outside.
Yeah,
you should have been too.
it's justified.
Meeting expectation.
It's for the people. It's for the people.
Fact. There was an expectation that you got lit. and you
Exactly.
matched it.
And she surpassed it. She
For the
surpassed
club, so people know
Yeah.
what the club is, and so that I get more club, and so that I can have a better resume. There
I
you
know.
go.
it. Honestly, bro.
Piggyback on Rachel, like she literally summarized what I was gonna say, like word for word, bar for bar.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're good. Like I'm. If the question is how shaped are you by expectations, I would answer, but I am shaped by expectations. Mostly by the expectations I set on myself. I think my biggest fear in this world is this. Although this sounds so corny, is like I feel like I have a potential. Like if you were to, I'm like a attribute bar.
Yeah.
My biggest fear is like like sitting on my deathbed and kind of be like I could have done more.
Yeah.
I should have done
That's
more.
scary.
Yeah, right?
That's
That's like-
to me, but that was scary. Yeah.
But like
That was him.
that is number one for me, and I think the reason that I have so many expectations on myself is to avoid that fear. So when the question asks how shaped are you, like I am a product of the expectations I put on myself. So all the actions I do is to avoid that and to pursue what I think or what I'm kind of shaping to be the best version of myself. And I'm on like TikTok where it's kind of like self-pursuit sometimes is self-destruction, and I agree with that to an extent. I think if all you're doing is pursuing upgrades, like you're inevitably gonna reach a point where it's like, okay, for what? Why
You
am
lose
I?
yourself, yeah.
Yeah, like why am I? Like for what reason? Like
Yeah.
really, at the end of the day, what is this for? My mindset right now is like I don't care. Like I'm gonna just go head to the wall until I can, and then when that dilemma comes, I'll tackle it then. But for now, right now, with how my brother is doing and like the expectations that obviously my parents have on me and that I have on myself, my mindset is just let's go.
Are you the younger brother?
I am the younger. I'm the younger brother.
So is your brother a doctor already?
No, but he's like
He's getting there.
yeah, and he's
How
also
did you-
like very different than me, as in like he was obviously sorry, this is another side to it, but like obviously growing as the eldest son in a Korean conservative family,
Yeah.
he was raised so much stricter than I was.
Yeah.
My brother and I have gotten a lot closer in my uni. We hated each other when I was in high school, but man, we talk about it, like we laugh about it now, but like genuinely, like man, I feel so bad. For
I
him.
just knew bro was in the gutter.
No,
because
I felt
was
so
too,
bad because
so
like when I look at like if you saw my brother, you'd understand. My brother's very not timid, but he's very like structured. He understands what he's on. He needs to do. I'm a lot more like
You're rowdy, huh?
I'm a little rowdier, and I think that's a byproduct of growing up as a younger one.
Yeah.
But, yeah. If my brother was on this pod, like he'd have so much to say about this. I can only imagine because I have these feelings as a youngest son, and I grew up with only when I grew up in high school, I only had one parent. I also grew up in COVID, so my parents were like, you know what, do you, bro? When my brother grew up, it was like every single action of his and his path and his goals and his aspirations were curated by my parents.
Yeah.
So like, man, I can't imagine.
I can kind of see that too, because like the thing that I'm the older brother, right? I have one younger brother, right? So for me, it's like everything is so strict and the expectations are so like not necessarily defined, but again, they're just like expected, right? Like they're like it's kind of like what we were talking in the last question. Like there's a set route, right? So for me, like my parents set the expectations, like you know, you got to go to law school, become a lawyer, make that money, right? I'm like, yeah, cool, that's happening, right? So like that's like one part of it, but then it's like again, kind of touching on that, like you know how parents kind of set like that predefined path. Like for me, it's like yeah, okay, cool, I'm at school and everything that happens, but then again, I'm in music, right? So then like with that, it's like I have my own other expectations, right? Where it's like I use them very much to guide me to like just keep on working. Because like I don't know, making it is like for me like making it is like the path, right? And it's kind of like living up to your potential. Like I don't want to be in that position at the end where it's like, yo, I didn't like do what I wanted to do. So I think, yeah, like I think it's most expectations, like a part of it is my parents, but then like a majority of it is just me like on myself. Kind of just like, you know, pushing myself forward.
Oh yeah.
Or there's times where you feel like you know, like take care of Drake, you're just there, like, you know, this is like shit, what am I doing? But yeah, that's what I would say.
Shout out Ace Armani.
Shout out Ace
Armani.
Plug that.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with any like siblings. I'm an only child, but I grew up pretty close or really close with my older cousin.
Right.
I could practically call her my older sister. Like she basically raised me out the womb. Like she actually gave me my name.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
How much older is she?
We have a 10-year age gap.
She's a lawyer.
So
she's a lawyer right now. She made it out. She made it out. She's like I don't know, what do you call it? What's that term? It's like amongst the family. There's like that one golden child.
Golden child. Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Like a golden child? I guess
prodigals.
Yeah, I guess you can call her like the golden child of our family, right? So she's like self-sufficient. She owns her own apartment. She lived
She is the expectation.
Dude, man, I'm just trying to be there, man.
Do not tell all about this lady. I don't know who she is, but
No, you tell me that. I grew up with her.
bro, you were cooked since day one.
So it's like a lot of this expectation that I grew up with stem. I'm not blaming her because she was actually like my idol, right? I thought I like at the time I was like, I think I want to become a lawyer as well. So growing up throughout high school, I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna do poli-sci because that's what she did, and then go straight into law school and then do law school and then come out as a lawyer afterwards. But just kind of just like eventually you kind of just realize is this dream really my own?
Yeah.
Or is this just like, because when you're constantly reminded of it, especially from my parents.
Oh man, we can talk about that for hours. That realization that hits, it's like, what am I doing this for? Like,
it's like, am I doing this for myself or doing this for my family? When my mom asked me that, like, are you in school for yourself or are you doing it for us? Like,
damn, your mom said
my mom, I tell her it's for me, right? But at the same time, there's a part of myself like if I were to answer like properly, I'm like, I'm in school for you.
You also doing it for them, yeah.
I'm in school.
I get that.
And there's a certain pain. Like imagine like you told them that, and they're like, "Why then?" And like imagine how you feel.
It's really hard to approach them with that, but at the same time, just kind of like distancing myself away from that that straightforward pathway that's like kind of just marked off along the way.
You
kind of just realize, is this dream really for myself? But then, so that's another part of my identity right now. Kind of like this era where kind of just like distancing myself away from that dream, or I don't even know, I can call it my own dream, and kind of just and then like a phase of can I like trying to figure out what my own dream is, kind of like what my expectations are.
Yeah, that's
back at it.
Bar.
Dunking on all of us.
Bar. He got no laptop in front of him. He's just speaking words. Straight off the, like just he's just putting words together and they're just working.
No,
but you know what? I get that though. It's like I think about the same thing, right? It's like, am I doing this for me or am I doing this for like, you know, my family? But then it's like there's also a weird point where you realize that like, you know, if you have an interest in something you're doing, you do realize that like some part of you wants to like, you know, get success from that thing you're doing and then give back to your family, give back to the people you care about.
Yeah.
So it's like
Trying to buy my mom a house, bro.
Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So it puts you in a weird position where you're like, yeah, like, you know, you might not be doing it for yourself, but in like the broader, like the large scale of things, you are kind of doing it for yourself and them. So it's like, you know, I don't know if you guys feel that way, but like me personally, I think about that every day. Like,
I think two things can be true at once, right? Like we can also be doing it for ourselves. Like there's no doubt in saying that, like, yeah, if I actually became a lawyer, if I actually caught my bag, like I would be enjoying that bag too, right?
Yeah.
Facts. But it's a big bag. It's a big bag, though.
If you want some,
No, but facts though, like it's a big bag.
It's a big bag.
Like, let me take some for the bag. My parents can get some for the bag.
right?
My friends can
Everyone
get some
gets
for the
some.
bag. Like,
it's for everyone. It's for everyone, and like it's not contradicting at all to be like, yes, I'm doing it for myself, but also let's not lie and say that like, you know, the pressure isn't there to also do it for them. Right?
Of course, yeah.
facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah, and that's pressure that you put on yourself as well. I feel like for me, I'm lucky that my parents have never expected anything specific of me. Like they've never been like, you need to be this or you need to do that. Sometimes my mom will joke about like, it'd be nice if you could be a doctor. But like
Mom be nice.
but then I've never felt pushed in any certain direction, but I guess the expectation has always just been to work hard. Like my parents were both artists, like that's what they've always done. So
really?
Yeah. So like even though they understand that like, you know, the lawyer doctor path isn't for everyone, like they've always worked hard with everything that they do. And that's kind of an expectation that they've had on me that has also just kind of become an expectation that I've put on myself. And I feel like everyone can relate to that to a certain extent as well.
Hell yeah.
I think there's like an internal like conflict that a lot of like people go through in terms of that. It's like I was just thinking, it's like at the end, am I able to tell like my mom like, hey mom, I made it, or tell myself or tell my mom, hey mom, look at me now. Like in terms of like chasing my own goals, I was able to persevere and kind of just make it on my own regards rather than mom, I made it within your regards, within your dreams.
I don't even think I would be able to say I made it. It's like we made it.
Oh yeah.
Like it's like we made it. Yeah. Man.
Philip, you gotta get the fuck out.
Get out.
You gotta get out, bro. Like you're making me cry, bro.
Oh, I know we're running a little behind schedule, so I'm gonna try seamlessly transition us into our
Alright, bro, you're already ruined it. Bro, it's fine.
But I think it would be nice for us to end on a note of like acknowledging our culture and acknowledging what kind of shapes us. We talked about pressure, we talked about expectations, we talked about stereotypes, but those are a lot, sometimes can be viewed as like negative connotations. The question I have for you is like, what parts of you guys, your identity is shaped by your culture, right? Obviously, we're significantly shaped by our cultures. I'm not saying we aren't, or it's kind of impossible not to be. But like, if you kind of were to put on like a display and like you're thinking and reflecting back on it, I'm like, man, I'm really happy that this part of me is here as a byproduct of where I came from, a byproduct of my parents, as a byproduct of my culture. For me, obviously, number one is I think work ethic. I'm not saying I'm an extremely hard worker by any means. I have so much shortcomings that I need to work on that hopefully I'll get through. But I think work ethic in the sense of I think I understand what it means to work hard. It doesn't necessarily mean I do every time. But obviously, growing up with a brother, my older brother, who I didn't have my dad in my life for a large period of time. He was always in Korea making money and then sending it over. Like my brother served that role for me, and watching him work hard kind of set that standard. And I would say that is something that my culture showed me, like that. That older, in Korean it's young, but like this older presence that he had in terms of setting the standard and setting the standard not through words. Like he never was that stereotypical older brother that's like sat me down. It's like Sam, you need to know. It's like he did it by doing it, and I think I just observed it growing up. And like when I hit that age where I got self-consciousness, like past high school, I was like, oh, like, okay, I understand what I need to do now. Like I've been talking about blessings and opportunity very early on in this episode, but like that's the number one thing. Like I'm so grateful that I didn't grow up and just kind of take everything for granted. Like I understand that I have been handed a silver spoon. Maybe it's a different silver spoon than what other people expect, but I have been handed a silver spoon. And now I just need to eat with it.
God damn.
I need to eat with it. But yeah.
I like how you said all that, and then you said in the notes, you said can be the little things. I was like, yo, where does this fall underneath fashion? fashion or hobbies.
In the notes, I wrote, "Can be the little things, fashion habits, hobbies,
I was
thinking."
I like that real characters. I love Hello Kitty.
I mean,
I'm gonna
I also
use
love
my
Korean
notes.
music, Korean obviously, but
Yeah, we know
no,
you're
but
up and coming BTS.
okay. I'm a recent army member. Album coming this month.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I think like for me, well, I was gonna do that on serious stuff, but maybe I should do something serious.
No. Do that serious stuff.
Okay, I will say like on serious, I think the fun things about Asian culture that I really enjoy is like all the cutesy stuff. Like I feel like we have so many cutesy things. Like I rep cinema roll. I have a cinema roll chain right here
A
from
what?
Hong Kong.
Oh, really?
Cinema roll.
Cinnamon roll?
Cinema roll.
Oh, I heard
Don't get
cinnamon.
it
What is cinnamon roll?
It's cinema roll. So
Cinnamon
she's
roll?
like
That's what I heard.
She got a cinnamon roll on her neck.
Okay, it's a dog. It's a
Oh,
dog, and
my
the reason
fault.
why it's called cinnamon roll is because he has a cinnamon bun-shaped tail. So I think like stuff like that is just super cute and unique, and like I think that's really fun.
Oh, cinnamo roll.
There we go.
Oh.
Someone projected.
Oh.
Once, bro.
Bro, I searched a cinnamon roll and it was just cinnamon rolls.
Yeah, I was with cinnamon buns. I was like,
Oh, cinnamo. This is a rabbit.
No, it's a dog.
What kind of? Okay, I'm sorry. What kind of dog has this big ears, Rachel? Okay.
Okay, mind your business. So yeah, I'm repping cinema roll on this chain. Like I have a bunch of cute like little doggy pictures and stuff like that, and I think that's like something underrated that I really enjoy. Something deeper though is also work ethic, but I think also at least for like Vietnamese and Chinese people, like that emphasis on like family and like familial ties, like that. I think. Okay, elderly respect, I think is actually really important, but also it can sort of like bite you in the butt
It's a 50-50
sometimes.
thing, yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's 50-50. Like I do think that we should have respect for our elders and like appreciate everything that they've gone through. And I think that's sort of part of why we respect our parents so much in the sense of like everything that they've gone through. At the same time, I do think that at times like respect is earned, not just given.
Facts.
So
Yeah, social
I
hierarchy is like very double-edged sword.
So I'm
It's-
sort of like 50-50 on that. I personally love the elderly respect, but I think anyway, so I think I really value that. I really just value like how much emphasis is just put on family in general, like even outside of that elderly respect aspect of it. I think like at least for me, maybe we don't say I love you to each other that often, but like when like something hits the fan, like we're all here and like we have each other down, and it's like the whole family has each other down.
Shown
You know
through
what I mean?
action.
Exactly. It's shown through peeling oranges, not shown through words. Right?
Sliced
Facts.
apples.
Hell yeah. Hell
Facts.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's my.
I can kind of like relate to that too. I mean,
Yeah.
like again, like I'm born here, right? So for me, like I've been grown up in like the culture here in general, and then it's not like I necessarily like I myself like have picked out things from like my like background, but it's like through my parents who've brought their culture here. Like I feel like again I've picked up so many things as well, right? Family like ties, obviously that's like one of the biggest things in my household. But then also it's like kind of what Sam touched on, right? Like work ethic and whatnot. Like I think just like persevering and like keeping on going, right? Even when things are difficult, right? Or when like when you have struggles and whatnot, like. I think like for me personally, the whole thing with sacrificing, like I find myself right now, right, like sacrificing so many other things to work on what I want to work on, right, like my own goals. And I think I kind of picked that up very much from my parents, who again, right, like most of our parents, like they've gone through that same process. So I think for me, like that's like the biggest thing. But other than that, like I don't know if Indian people have like cutesy stuff necessarily, but bro, the food though,
Fire food.
the food be slapping.
We got one right here.
That was rude.
Really the wrong person, bro. Hold on.
Yo, should we clear the space for you?
We just gotta leave.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Our food be slapping, so like, I think I love the food and then the music.
You guys have like crazy shows, like
Bro, it's,
highest production quality.
bro,
all the time.
they're getting mainstream, man. Like, that's
That's
insane.
fire.
It's
It's fire.
insane.
Yeah, I think we touched on like a lot of things I wanted to talk about, like food, perseverance, and like love, and how we express love, or how our parents express love to us. Food, I could if I could only enjoy one like meal throughout, like from like now till I die, it'd be Asian food. Like I love Asian food.
Hundo.
It's so good.
There's Sundo.
It's like so nuanced. There's so many different
Varieties.
flavors, varieties, spices.
Yes.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But also, Amin touched on it as well. Perseverance. I think that's something that all of us in this room right now, kind of like we get it. Like, and I like I'm proud of, just not myself, but just all of us here, being able to. Like we all go through like micro battles every day.
Yeah.
In terms of us against our expectations of ourselves. I know we often get upset over like bad exam marks, but we're still here.
Yeah.
We get over it.
We make it worse.
So yeah,
Yo, you're really touching the heart right now.
That, like that perseverance that we develop is kind of like, I think it's something that's like culturally kind of just like it's kind of just a part of us. And then the last thing, Rachel mentioned like very slightly, but it's also like the way we love as well. Because I don't know about you guys, me and Rachel probably we get this, but it's like I don't think I've ever heard like verbatim "I love you" from my parents, regardless if that was in English
Unless I
or
forced
in
it out of them.
Chinese.
I'm like, yo, say you love me right now.
I can't even get that out of them.
And it's go awkward.
It's like,
But they do.
Yeah, it's really just expressed through like actions, and then we kind of pick up on those things. So traditionally, I guess like we don't express love in that way, regardless if that was towards family members, friends, or significant others. We would kind of like display our love for those people in the same way, whether that's be through small gifts, through action. It doesn't love isn't necessarily displayed through words alone. It's kind of displayed through like the actions and how we how we present ourselves to them.
Yeah, there's a beauty in love showing through.
Like acts of service.
Yeah.
Not even acts. Like they don't need to do anything. You just kind of know.
You
just sense it. You just you're just like
yeah.
At
That's
the same
true.
time,
That's
like
true.
I guess like sort of in a way, the expectations that are like just going back to a little bit, the expectations that our parents kind of placed on us. It's a form of love in their own way, because they want us to become something that's like that they can admire, but at the same time they just want us to be happy at the end of the day. And that's where their like deepest form of love comes from, is just to have an expectation for you.
Yes.
Yeah. Yo, are you okay today?
Man, he's different, man.
Today or what?
Holy! Every time he speaks, it's
I'm gonna have to do another Philip like compilation right here.
holy.
Gosh.
I feel like for me, the first thing that comes to mind is how my culture has shaped me creatively. I feel like, especially since I've grown up, I was raised by like parents who were both artists, and like growing up really like invested in like Korean like music, Korean cinema. I'm really into like music, film, photography, and all that. And that's always been a passion of mine. And I feel like I've always gained so much information from Korean art and Korean artists overall. It's just like you see like how much passion they have in their art. And that's something that I've also seen like within like my own family throughout like my entire life. So I feel like that's like the first thing that comes to mind, but I also definitely resonate with the whole, like what I mentioned earlier, like the expectation to always work hard is something that I really admire. I think that's a really admirable thing about my culture. And yeah, just knowing that everyone is giving it their all the time, like no matter in like whichever way, shape, or form, like just knowing that everyone is feeling the same thing and is trying their best in their own ways, I feel like is something that can be understood like within my culture, like mutually understood.
Facts. Actually, facts. Let's clap it up. Clap it up. I think to like quickly summarize the gist of our clocks, it's like our culture has a lot of parts where we struggle with, a lot of parts that we love, but I think overall, I don't think any of us would switch it for anything. I think that's main takeaway from talking about it. Dude, I love that. That was so sick. Maybe we should do a clap to conclude.
Like maybe.
Yeah, like we should just clap it up. But we appreciate all of you guys for watching. Hopefully you're able to relate, take away, learn, experience, feel a certain type of lesson or emotion. I don't know what. Even if you're not Asian, maybe you related to this in your own way, in your own culture, whether it be your own expectations or your own guilt or your own relationship with your parents or your own conceptions of pressure. But I think a lot of things we touched on today are so relevant and prevalent, especially between university students as well. So let's just do a slight clap to end it off in 3.
Hit the subscribe button. Okay.
Hit the subscribe.
If this episode hit the subscribe button,
Okay.
turn on that bell notification. Okay, let's stop.
All right, let's clap it up. 3, 2, 1. Oh.
Yay.
Actually, tell me
Good job, guys.
Yay. Thank you, Philip, for driving here.